You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
The views expressed by the individuals during this broadcast are their own opinions, and they may not be the same as those of their group or other organizations they may be involved with.
All medical advice during our broadcast is not a medical opinion and should be checked with your medical physician.
Good morning and welcome to Psychedelics and Cannabis Educational News for April the 4th. Good morning, Rev Cindy. How you doing?
Good morning on April 2nd. How are you? Oh, I think we're lagging.
Second. Okay. We are big time. Yeah, we're lagging, and for some reason, I guess it's Saturday.
Al's really excited for the Easter Bunny this weekend. He's just trying to get there fast.
Otherwise. Yes. Yes, correct. Yeah, I got my Easter Bunny chocolate treats already made too.
Good morning, Al.
We are lagging, are we not?
We are. Technical issues, isn't it fun?
Yes, yes. You're coming and going. You keep flashing on and off on the screen on me.
Oh, you do the same to me, and then I hear the words, but the mouth is like, completely different.
Yeah. Hopefully we can get things together here because it's going to be very hard to do a show if we're constantly lagging, isn't it?
Yeah. Maybe it'll catch up though as we do the stories. The way that we're doing them now, at least we don't have to worry about that.
All right. Well, we'll give it a shot. See how it goes. And if it just gets too terrible, we'll just have to shut things down.
Yeah. Before we get going, hopefully this will get through to Al and he'll let me talk. I just want to share the fact that there is a Nova Scotia psychedelic social coming up soon. We're going to focus this time on the psychedelics and safe touch. This is coming up on Friday, April 24th, starting at 7 p.m., going till approximately 10 p.m. And it's being held at the Shambhala Center on 1084 Tower Road. This is going to be a phenomenal chat. This is the gentleman that is coming in to chat with us, Rich Toy, and he's a psychedelic therapist. As it says here, he is a psychotherapist and psychedelic educator with over 13 years of experience supporting preparation and integration of transpersonal experiences through a somatic, relational, and harm reduction lens. He teaches psilocybin and MDMA-assisted therapy at Therasil, and he guest lectures internationally while also facilitating experiential training in psychedelic space holding. So being part of the Nova Scotia Psychedelic Society, we're really excited to have this gentleman in. It happens on the day I fly home from British Columbia. I land at 8 p.m., an hour into the lecture. I'm hoping that somebody is going to record it so I can see it later and maybe we can share it here on the station. But it is most definitely going to be an interesting conversation. So if you are in or around the Halifax area, I invite you to come on down to the Shambhala Center on April 24th.
I caught most of that. It
It
worked
took
pretty
probably
good, and
about,
all of a sudden it started getting choppy again.
yeah, it took about 15 seconds for you to reply to me on that. So that's our lag.
Yeah, I don't know. Whether
Well,
this is
let's
gonna work
try
or
the
not, but we can
first
give it a
story,
try.
Al. Let's try the first story
All right,
and
so why don't
see
you
what
get started?
happens when I bring you back. Okay. So I'm doing the first story. The first story
Yeah.
today is coming to us from City News in Winnipeg. I'm going to remove Al, and we're going to continue on with the story. So from City News in Winnipeg, criminal defense lawyer charged with conspiring to smuggle cannabis into a Manitoba prison. Another man has been charged with conspiring to smuggle cannabis into the Headingley Correctional Center. The charges come a year after the Manitoba Integrated Law Enforcement Team, MILET, opened an investigation after correctional officers noted an odor of cannabis and sought to determine who had brought the substance into the facility. A week after the investigation began, Millet was able to identify a man who was working as a criminal defense lawyer as a suspect in the case. The investigation also determined that the man had conspired to possess a restricted firearm. Following legal proceedings, which ended in early March, police moved forward with charges and took 43-year-old Chad Sutherland into custody in Winnipeg. Sutherland has since been charged with conspiracy to distribute cannabis, conspiracy to commit mischief, and conspiracy to possess a prohibited or restricted firearm. Police also note that two others, 31-year-old Hunter Audette and 41-year-old Crystal Richard, were charged last year with 2 counts of conspiring to commit an indictable, I can't say the word, offense in connection with this investigation, which I find really interesting. I'm one of those people that believe that, you know, if somebody's arrested and they have a prescription for medical cannabis, that they should not be cut off of their meds, no matter where they are.
As far as the lawyer himself, like if he was caught smuggling it in there, you know, it's not a, you know, he's obviously going to lose it. I assume lose his bar license.
Yeah.
If he's convicted, he's got to be convicted.
Yep.
Yeah. No, like as far as the, patients, you know, wherever they can, you know, they should be able to use it where they're at. I see that in the U.S., there's lots of hospitals starting to allow that to happen. Like as far as the states are allowing the hospitals to do that. You know, here in Canada, it's a sort of hit and miss thing. So,
yeah. I mean, like,
all right. Well, I'll get on to the next story and see how things go at this end, and hopefully it's not laggy. All right, here we go. Next story up. This one comes to us from Marijuana Moment. Headline says judge rejects anti-marijuana groups motion to block CBD and THC Medicare coverage plan, setting hearing for 4/20. A federal judge has denied a request from a coalition of anti-marijuana organizations that sought to immediately block the Trump administration's initiative to cover hemp-derived CBD and THC products through Medicare from launching on a lawsuit. The policy is still under consideration, however, with a hearing on that separate motion for a preliminary injunction scheduled for April the 20th, which, as everybody is known, is the unofficial cannabis cultural holiday. Now, Judge Trevor McFadden on Tuesday rejected the request from Smart Approaches to Marijuana and 9 other drug prevention groups to issue a temporary restraining order to halt the federal cannabis initiative, which is being facilitated by the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid services from taking effect. McFadden, in his one-page order, quoted case law holding that a temporary restraining order is an extraordinary and drastic remedy that can only be granted if a party makes a clear showing that 4 factors taken together warrant relief: likely success on the merits, and likely irreparable harm in the absence of preliminary relief, a balance of the equities in its favor and accord with the public interest. Now, having considered the arguments in plaintiff's motion and at a motions hearing, the court finds that plaintiffs have not met this high standard according to the judge. It goes on to say that the motion for a temporary restraining order is thus denied. The court will consider plaintiff's motion for a preliminary injunction and motion to stay upon the completion of briefing. The defendants in the lawsuit, CMS Administrator Dr. At-Eze and U.S. Department of Health and Human Services Secretary Robert Kennedy Jr., now have until April 9th to file briefs responding to the prohibitionist group's motion for a preliminary injunction. The plaintiffs then have a reply brief due on April the 13th, a week ahead of the 420 meeting on that matter. Now, the lawsuit comes as CMS is set to start covering CBD and THC products under select federal health insurance agencies or programs as a substance access beneficiary engagement initiative. And we'll have more on that information later on the broadcast. Now, SAM and other organizations, including Cannabis Impact Prevention Coalition, Drug Free America Foundation, and Save Our Society from Drugs, made several arguments in the support of legal intervention to prevent the cannabidiol BEI from moving forward. Much of their complaint focused on alleged violations of administrative rules to provide treatment, which they point out has not received Food and Drug Administration approval. So there they go. The courts are standing up for cannabis reform and helping patients get access to medication, which happens here in Canada as well.
Yep.
Yeah. So this is we're going to have some more information in this program later in the broadcast. I got some other stories on that and how it's also going to affect some of the businesses right here in Canada as well. So.
Nice. Yeah.
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 All righty. Well,
on to the next story.
Yeah, off to the next story. You're up.
Off to the next story. Leg seems to be getting a little bit better, which is awesome. But on to the next story, coming to us from the Globe and Mail. Red Light Holland, which is, even though it is in the Netherlands, it is actually a Canadian-based company trading on the Toronto Stock Exchange. So Red Light Holland, to support University of California, San Francisco's global psychedelic study through Filament Health's clinical network. A new international collaboration is bringing Canadian psychedelic companies into the heart of global research efforts. Red Light Holland has announced it will support a major study led by the University of California, San Francisco, working in partnership with Filament Health and its growing clinical trial network. The study is part of a broader push to better understand how psychedelic substances can be used safely and effectively in therapeutic settings. By leveraging Filament Health's infrastructure with focus on botanical naturally derived psychedelic compounds, researchers hope to gather high-quality data across multiple sites and populations. For Red Light Holland, a company often associated with the legal psilocybin truffle market in Europe, the move signals a deeper investment in the scientific and medical side of psychedelics. It's a notable shift in an industry that has sometimes been split between commercial enthusiasm and clinical credibility. Supporting academic research helps bridge the gap. Meanwhile, UCSF continues to position itself as a leader in psychedelic science, contributing to a growing body of research exploring treatments for conditions like depression, anxiety, and addiction. Collaborations like this one are increasingly common as universities partner with private companies to access funding, compounds, and clinical networks. Stepping back, this announcement reflects a maturing industry. Psychedelics are no longer just a fringe topic. They're becoming the focus of structured international research efforts. And with Canadian companies playing a role on the global stage, it's clear this country remains a key player in shaping what comes next. Al, I'm pretty excited that a Canadian company is involved, and we've been at the forefront of psychedelic research for a while now.
Yes, and we hearing, because they've always stressed on the cannabis end of things. Oh, there's no research. There's no research. There's all kinds of research coming out on psychedelics, and they won't be able to say that.
That's right.
Yeah, and then working together with the universities. I know here in Ontario, there's actually one within an hour's drive of me that has a license that does research on psychedelics as well as it was doing on cannabis for quite a while.
Yeah.
So it's good. More research. They always, it's the one thing that I hope they won't be able to say down the road when it comes to psychedelics, because there is making improvements for quality of life for a lot of people.
That they are.
Yeah. All right. From that story, we're going to move on to the next story. And as I said, I'd have more information for you on this CBD thing that is going on with the U.S. government in that last story that Smart or Sam, wherever they call themselves, tried to prevent from happening. So this one's coming to us from Marijuana Moment. And the headline there says, Dr. Oz announces launch of program covering THC and CBD products through Medicare. Now, federal health officials on Wednesday announced the launch of a new Trump administration initiative to cover up to $500 worth of hemp-derived products each year for eligible patients. The program being implemented by the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services focuses largely on CBD, but also allows a certain amount of THC in products. Now, it says here that, in a quote, CMS is committed to innovation that meets patients where they are while maintaining strong safeguards and clinical oversight. CMS Administrator Dr. Oz said in a press release. Now, under the president's leadership, we're expanding the tools available to improve patients' health while generating important insights into how providers can use these tools safely and effectively in real-world care settings. Now, President Donald Trump signed an executive order in December calling on the Attorney General to finalize a rule of federally rescheduling cannabis that also contain components to improve access to full spectrum CBD products. To that end, the new CMS Hemp Initiative reflects the administration's broader efforts to expand access to innovative patient-centered care, the agency says. It also goes on to say it marks a meaningful step as CMS begins testing how emerging care tools can be integrated into coordinated care to improve outcomes and quality of life. Now, the Substance Access Beneficiary Engagement Initiative, the BEI, is available to participants in CMS ACO REACH model and Enhancing Oncology model as of Wednesday, and under the long-term Enhanced ACO design, which is called LEAD, starting on January the 1st of 2027. In quotes, they say, this new CMS initiative gives providers in certain models another tool with necessary safeguards to support their patient needs through consultation about whether possible use of hemp products could help improve symptoms, according to the director, Ab Sutton. Now, products must comply, they say, with applicable state, federal, and local laws and meet quality and safety standards, including third-party testing for potency and contaminants. Now, as a reminder, inhalation preparations are not allowed, so no smokables, and products can contain no more than 0.3% of THC by dry weight, and can have up to 3 milligrams of THC per serving, but just so you know, that could change down the road. So there you go, Cindy. We got Medicaid and stuff being covered up to $500 a year for patients in the U.S.
Yeah, which is really great. When the first coverage here in Nova Scotia was up to $300 a year, but there was no cap on THC. I find that interesting.
Yeah. Well, that's because it's hemp derived, and hemp's only allowed to have that 3. Now, I believe, according to the executive order, that was going to be increased to 0.4 from 0.3. Not a huge increase. No.
Woo!
yeah, exactly. But it's you got to look at it as well. It's recognizing the medical benefit of hemp.
Yes, it is. Yep, it's a step. It's a small one, but it's a step.
Yeah, correct. Like Health Canada doesn't even recognize the medical benefit of hemp or cannabis.
Not yet.
No. Well, and in a way, cannabis on that end too down in the States. But if the hemp, it gets it started, right? And patients can save $500 a year.
Yeah.
Now, as it mentioned, though, you had to be involved in 2 programs, and I know one of them was a cancer program. So I wouldn't say it's access for everybody, but there is access there. So. All right. Any more on that story you want to discuss, or we're going to head her off to break?
I think we're good. We can probably get a break.
All right. As you said, time for a break. We'll be back in about 3 minutes. You're watching Psychedelics and Cannabis Educational News here at paceradio.net and 420pace.ca.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
Limestone City Hydroponics is Kingston, Ontario's hydroponics shop. Take your growing to the next level and create the optimal environment with a tent kit, or maximize your yield with an ebb and flow flood table kit. Either way, Limestone City Hydroponics has more sizes and options to fit your needs. Are you looking for the power of the sun that adapts to your budget? Then look no further, as they have professional grow lighting. They have indoor grow systems that are easy and cost effective, with many options to fit your living space and lifestyle. Cultivate your growing potential. We have everything you need to succeed. And if you can't make it to the store, they offer local delivery to the greater Kingston area. Remember, when you're looking for experts to help you grow, then look no further than the locally owned Limestone City Hydroponics, 105 Sunderland Drive in Kingston, Ontario. Call them at 613-548-0420.
Are you looking to get your medical cannabis grow license? Limestone City Hydroponics can help patients through the process of obtaining their license to grow medical cannabis. What's that? You don't have a doctor? If you meet the medical criteria, Limestone City Hydroponics has a nurse practitioner who can assess and provide medical cannabis prescriptions. What are you waiting for? Contact Limestone City Hydroponics at limestonecityhydroponics.ca or call them at 613-548-0420.
What do you find at paceradio.net? People advocating cannabis education.
Enjoy the buzz of legalization with Campbellford Lifestyle Shop. From lights to plant nutrients, books, consumption accessories, and more, we've got all your basics to grow or consume cannabis. Visit our info center or take a look at our piercing services and body jewelry, now available in-store through Campbellford Lifestyle Shop, 17 Bridge Street West, Campbellford.
Rerolled Saturdays. Check it out. Nothing but non-stop cannabis and psychedelic programming. Find it at
420pace.ca. You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
And you're watching Psychedelics and Cannabis Educational News. Well, Cindy, as I always say, 4 more stories to go.
4 more.
4 more. And we can't get them done without doing them. So you're up.
I'm up. Our next story is coming from Green State, and why convenience stores are betting on big cannabis. I bet. Convenience stores, long known for snacks, fuel, and late night essentials, are now setting their sights on cannabis. Across parts of the United States, major retail chains and independent operators alike are exploring how to integrate cannabis products into their business models, betting that accessibility and familiarity could drive the next wave of growth. The logic is simple. Convenience stores already excel at location, foot traffic, and quick transactions. Adding cannabis to that mix could normalize holy jiu-jitsu, could normalize purchasing even further, making it as routine as picking up a coffee or a pack of gum or, container of milk or loaf of bread. In regions where regulations allow it, some stores are experimenting with dedicated cannabis sections or adjacent dispensary setups. But the shift isn't without challenges, of course. Cannabis remains heavily regulated, and rules around licensing, security, and product handling can be complex. There's also the question of public perception. While cannabis has gained mainstream acceptance, not everyone is comfortable with its presence in everyday retail spaces. Industry analysts say that this move could mirror the evolution of alcohol sales, which gradually expanded into broader retail environments over time. If regulations continue to loosen, convenience stores could become a major distribution channel, especially in underserved or rural areas where traditional dispensaries are less common. At its core, this trend is about normalization as cannabis continues to integrate into legal markets. The places where it's sold and how it's sold are evolving. And if convenience stores succeed, they may redefine what convenient really means in the cannabis era. I'm honestly not sure how I feel about this, Al.
Well, I know, like here in Ontario, within the last year, we just started to allow alcohol to be sold away from the beer store and LCBO. So now you can go into convenience stores. They can sign up and register in order to sell alcohol. They have to meet certain criteria. I was just in a store over the weekend, a bigger store, box store style, and they had a row of beer, row of wines and stuff. And at the front of the aisle was a guy that was giving out samples of sparkling wine. Why can't we do that with cannabis beverages? And as far as convenience stores go, think of your model of cannabis stores. You have to go through the alcohol end to get to your cannabis. Could they not have that? Would it help people who are concerned about cannabis or hemp products being in convenience stores by having that convenience store at the front and going into a back section like you do to get your cannabis, where it could be, age gated?
Yeah, I definitely think it should be age gated. Not that I'm, my views on cannabis and age are strict, but I I don't like here in the Maritimes, in Newfoundland, they've been selling booze out of the convenience stores for years. Here in Nova Scotia, it's become a thing. There are more and more convenience stores popping up with liquor stores in them, or liquor stores popping up in convenience stores. I don't like that. Straight up, I'm against that. I don't think that alcohol should be that accessible. These places are super freaking easy to steal from. I mean, it's unbelievably easy to steal from them, and the kids do, because you have. Most of them have one aisle where you've got booze on one side and potato chips on the other. And I think it's disgusting that they're making it that easy for children to get something that's so harmful.
But yet they had people putting coverings over windows to prevent people from seeing a picture of a plant.
Yes. Yeah. So I think that, they should scale back. They should pull back their alcohol model and move forward their cannabis model. Should it be in convenience stores? I'm not sure. I'm honestly not sure how I feel about that. I'm disgusted with alcohol being in convenience stores, and but that's because of how that kills and whatnot, making it so accessible to children. How do I feel about cannabis in convenience stores? If they served it like they serve cigarettes, so everything's behind the counter, it's age restricted, they're keeping an eye on it, stopping the thieving process, I think I'd be okay with that. And I know I'm a cannabis activist. I'm supposed to be going, yeah, let's just move forward and go. But I'm also a human activist. Yeah, I'm a human activist, and it's got to be the right model that's going to make everybody unhappy, straightforward, because that's when we know we have it right. So I think putting this stuff in the stores would be fine, but guarding it as they do cigarettes, I think would make everybody happy enough yet still unhappy that it would be something that would work.
Yeah. Well, talking about that, the same store had boxes and boxes of Nicorette, which is for people dealing with nicotine addiction, available openly. Though I'm thinking, if that's nicotine, some kid can just go ahead and grab that.
Yep. Again, even though it's a quitting smoking tool, it still contains the nicotine, which is in itself a carcinogen, plus sugar, which is a carcinogen. Not that we safeguard sugar, but it should be with the cigarette stuff. Now, should it be closed up in a drawer like we insist on all cigarette stuff? Maybe not, but it should still be behind the counter. And I know I'm putting a lot of stuff behind the counter at a convenience store, but if they want to move into these realms, they should be looking after it the way it should be looked after.
Safeguards.
It's the same as pharmacies. You go into a pharmacy and the Nicorette's all out front. Stick it in back. You have to ask the pharmacist for it. I mean, you have to do that with the Tylenol 1.
Yeah.
Why shouldn't you have to do that with your Nicorette, your nicotine?
Even the iron pills I'm on, I have to ask for them behind the counter. They're not prescription.
You can, anybody can go buy a box of nicotine.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't make sense to me. All right, we should move on from that. I think we could go on for a while. But on to the next story. This one is coming to us from StratCan, and this is a continuation of the what's happening down in the U.S. when it comes to their decision with the CBD products. Headline here in StratCan says that Canadian cannabis companies eye U.S. Medicare CBD pilot project. Americans covered by certain U.S. health insurance programs could have up to $500 on hemp-derived products covered each year. Now, under this new pilot program from the U.S. Center for Medicare and Medicaid Services that began on the 1st, or yesterday, participating healthcare providers can offer eligible patients hemp-derived CBD products for symptoms control with out-of-pocket costs to the patient. Now, High Tide announced that while its wholly owned U.S. Hemp-derived CBD subsidiary New Leaf Naturals intends to pursue participation in the pilot program as supplier of eligible hemp-derived CBD products and has already begun engaging with participating organizations. They say the launch of the CMS pilot program is a historic moment for the U.S. CBD industry and, most importantly, for the millions of Medicare beneficiaries who may now have access to hemp-derived cannabinoid therapies at no cost to themselves, with costs borne by participating organizations under CMS models, according to Raj Grover, who's the founder and chief executive officer of High Tide. Now, Irwin Simon, chairman and chief executive officer of Tilray Brands, which also operates in Canada, says the company is considering participating in the program, monitoring the status of the rescheduling of cannabis, and actively engaging with legislators and regulators. Tilray is well positioned to contribute to the pilot program with this proven track record of operating at a scale and highly regulated medical cannabis industry globally, says Simon in an earnings call for Tilray's third quarter. Now, the administration's recent federal actions to expedite cannabis rescheduling and explore a Medicare cannabidiol pilot program reflect a meaningful and welcome shift towards aligning policy with emerging research and clinical experiences, says Dr. Lee Vincor, the chief medical advisor. Now, he goes on to say that for millions of patients and physicians who care for them, these therapies are not theoretical. They are already part of their more modern medical practice. Now, NCC remains committed to ensuring that any revolution in cannabis policy is guided by rigorous scientific research, patient safety, regulatory clarity, and real-world data guidance. So there's a couple companies here in Canada that are already jumping on, being that they are established in the U.S. already, as well as here.
Yeah. Like I said, it's, we've been having some coverage here in Canada for a while. And the last time I checked on it, it was $300 annually, but I'm sure it's gone up. That was a long time ago that I checked on that. Like we're talking about 8 years ago, straight out. So yeah, like it's we're heading towards it, and full coverage. Veterans and some RCMP officers get their stuff covered.
Yeah.
Up to, everybody at least 3 grams, and you can push for more. And so why shouldn't every medical patient have it covered?
Sounds good to me.
Yeah.
I know that. Yeah, that's for sure. And there's always be criteria attached to it. It would never be just an open market end of things on the medical end. Sure, everybody would like to be cannabis as legal as tomatoes. But it's not there yet. So,
It'll get
all right. Shall we move on to the next story?
On to the next story, which is coming to us from MSN. Short-acting psychedelic DMT shows promise as a rapid treatment for major depressive disorder. A fast-acting psychedelic compound is drawing new attention in the world of mental health treatment. DMT, known for its intense but I don't know what that word is straight up. My computer has done something funky to that word. Known for its intense effects, we're just going to go with that, is now being studied as a potential rapid treatment for major depressive disorder, with early findings suggesting it could offer meaningful relief with a much shorter timeline than traditional therapies. Oh, heck to the yeah. What sets DMT apart is its duration. Unlike other psychedelics that can last several hours, DMT experiences are typically measured in minutes. Researchers believe this could make it far more practical in clinical settings, allowing for tightly controlled sessions that are easier to integrate into existing healthcare systems. In recent studies, patients receiving DMT, now we're talking NN-DMT, the same DMT that's used to make the compound ayahuasca. Patients receiving DMT showed notable improvements in depressive symptoms, in some cases shortly after treatment. The compound appears to work by promoting neuroplasticity, essentially helping the brain form new connections and giving people the ability to change patterns that no longer serve them. Which may allow individuals to break out of entrenched negative thought patterns. As I said, of course, the research is still in its early stages, and scientists emphasize the need for larger controlled trials to confirm both safety and long-term effectiveness. Of course, psychedelic treatments are also require careful screening, preparation, and most importantly, integration. They're not simply quick fixes, despite the speed of their effects. Even so, the potential is significant. As mental health systems around the world struggle to meet demand, innovations like short-acting psychedelics could offer new tools, ones that are not only effective, but efficient. And in the evolving landscape of psychedelic medicine, DMT is quickly becoming a compound to watch. And Al, I truly believe in they're not just, in that statement, I believe it covers not just NN-DMT, for which the article speaks of, but with the medicine that I work, the 5-MeO DMT. Both are beautiful medicines. Both are fast-acting medicines. The trips last 10 to 20 minutes, depending on the person. And can bring with it lasting changes, as long as you're doing the preparation and integration.
Correct. Yeah. Fast acting relief. Perfect. That's what people want. They don't want to take an hour or 2 hours, or have to take it continuously for a while before it reacts and it's back.
Yeah. Yeah, I find we get a little bit of lag again, but I think I got everything you said. What I like about 5-MeO is sometimes when you go in for your session, or with NN-DMT, the session itself can be an hour to 2 hours long, depending on the little bit of talking and the on-mat prep that we call it, and then some chatting afterwards with instructions, and sometimes you take more than one pipeful. Sometimes you take 2 or 3 pipefuls, and that does take time. But in a 2-hour session, you can get a lot done. And then you do integration work afterwards with your facilitator and your therapist. And instead of going in for a 4 to 8 hour session for psilocybin, or even longer for ayahuasca or iboga or MDMA or LSD, you're in and out within 2 hours, and you can drive afterwards. When your facilitator releases you to the world, you are out of medicine and you're okay to go, do what you need to do to get home and look after yourself. Whereas psilocybin, because, or LSD or any of the others, either you're staying the night with the facilitator, which racks up money, or you're getting somebody to come pick you up and drive you around and then stay with you for, while the last lingering effects of those things go. And some of these medicines, they insist that you stay. Like if you go for iboga, you're not going anywhere for a few days. That's just the way it is, right? So 5-MeO and NN-DMT can give you that opportunity to go in and leave within a couple hours of medicine.
It's not a okay.
Yeah.
Now I see Buddy Weeds has stopped by. He says, "Good morning." Good morning, Buddy Weeds. How you doing?
Morning, Buddy.
And yes, I have to. Okay, yeah, I have to agree. We mentioned this earlier, Buddy. He says it's crazy that Canada doesn't recognize cannabis as medicine while fully legal, while the U.S. is recognizing it as medical but still illegal. Yeah, twisted. All right. We have one more to go to in a moment, and the headline on it says, waiting for it to show up on the screen, Texas will launch ibogaine clinical trials after drug companies failed to meet requirements for psychedelic research funds. Texas is launching its own research program into a psychedelic called ibogaine after state officials couldn't find a company to help develop it into a drug for Food and Drug Administration approval. Now, Governor Dan Patrick and House Speaker Dustin Burrows announced on Tuesday that Texas will use $50 million the legislature invested last year with statewide medical researchers to proceed with its own ibogaine research program. The lawmakers said multiple proposals from drug companies failed to meet the standard for state funds. According to Catherine Neal Harris, she says that we intend to fully fund this program, but so that she isn't surprised the state couldn't woo any companies to join in on the ibogaine research. No, Texas lawmakers set the bar too high that even too high to be eligible for the $50 million state investment. Companies had to provide a plan to get FDA approval to develop access, match the $50 million to commit to Texas 20% of revenue from future sales of the medicine after the FDA approves it. Wow. That may be now Harris says that may be seen as a demanding state of conditions in a research area that carries substantial risk. So it is believable that prospective applicants did not meet the requirements. Now, for several years, people have silently traveled to clinics in Mexico to take ibogaine. The extract of an ancient African shrub, ibogaine, has been used to alleviate addiction and brain trauma. Ibogaine is an illegal drug, but Republicans have championed it due to its positive impact on people suffering from PTSD. Now, Governor Greg Abbott signed Senate Bill 2308 into law last year, creating a consortium of universities, hospitals, and drug developers to conduct clinical trials of an ibogaine drug and get it approved by the FDA for future sales. Now, lawmakers approved that $50 million in taxpayer dollars to support this effort, making Texas a leader in psychedelic research investment. Now, getting drug companies on board was key to making this consortium work because they have the experience of developing medicine that gets FDA approval. Now, Brian Hubbard, Chief Executive Officer of the Americans for Ibogaine, said that research institutions across the country are conducting hundreds of clinical trials every day. But what sets Texas apart is its goal of developing ibogaine into an FDA-approved drug that can be sold. Now, as we speak, they say we are seeing bills passed in Mississippi, West Virginia, Oklahoma, Tennessee, and Missouri that would join these states together in researching ibogaine, something far more significant than one private developer, they say. Now, Texas is what makes this joiner possible, according to the politician. Now, under SB 2308, a public university will manage ibogaine clinical trials in partnership with a drug company and a hospital. Well, there you go. Maybe the criteria was too strong, and other companies wouldn't get involved researching that. But it was good to see that they're still continuing with it. There's that $50 million to get some research done. And I can see why, some are hesitant having to do all that and, having to be held to that contract for opportunity, I would assume.
Yeah. Ibogaine is an amazing medicine. It's one that I have I've taken. I've gone for 2 retreats. I've sat with it 5 times now. And it's a life changer. And for those people that suffer, from addiction or from trauma, it's a beautiful medicine that can help you go from dark to light. Again, preparation and integration are like massively key, as they are with any medicine. But it's really exciting to see this happening. I am watching my friends who serve iboga or ibogaine here in Canada be chased out right now by Health Canada. moving to Mexico or Costa Rica or somewhere else where they can serve the medicine and help people. So it's really exciting to see that the United States is moving forward with this, and I'm kind of hoping Canada's watching. I would like the opportunity for my friends to come home if they want to.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. They've been accelerating the psychedelic end about things. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
And I remember when this was first announced, I think it was last year, they first went through for the vote and approved it all. And I was in, wow, really? And now to see it going to that point where they're actually going to spend the money. To do it.
Yeah, it's really exciting. Yeah, I'm excited to see how this one turns out. I'm really excited for the participants that are going to be going into the study to take the medicine for two reasons. I mean, number one, they're going to be helped. And number two, they're going to help shape the future so other people can be helped. And I'm just, like, I love it. Like, knowing what this medicine can do and knowing how it can help people. I'm emotionally excited. And only because we're on air, I'm holding back the tears. But I'm very emotionally excited for this one. Ibogaine is definitely one of my top medicines. It changed my life, and it took me from a struggling person in addiction. Even though I was sober when I went for it, I was still very heavily struggling, to a person who stands with strength and isn't bothered by those addictions anymore. So it's a big medicine.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah. From what I call, when I first got involved in the cannabis end of things, was the fact that it was helping people who were addicted to drugs.
Yep.
That was the first thing I had heard about it, and I went, "Wow, there you go, something we could use."
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Anything else?
Yes. I'm gonna plug this one more time before we take off. The Nova Scotia Psychedelic Society is holding their next social, April 24th, from 7 to 10 p.m. You can show up a little bit early. We'll be there setting up about 6:30. And this is being held at the Shambhala Centre, which is on Tower Road in Halifax, Nova Scotia. If you are in Halifax, if you are near Halifax, if you can get to Halifax on that Friday, I highly recommend you come down for this conversation. It's gonna be epic. Psychedelics and safe touch. Through all of the courses I've done, this has been a big topic that we have spent hours on. It's a very, very important topic, and I'm really excited for this gentleman to come on down and have a conversation with everybody. He is one of the instructors with Therasil, and he travels internationally to speak. And I'm really excited for him to come down and chat about psychedelics and safe touch. It's a massively important subject, and I'm really excited. I'm keeping my fingers crossed somebody records this for me, because I won't be back completely in time. But yeah, so if you were in Halifax on April 24th, come on down to the Shambhala Centre for this absolutely wicked chat and question and answer period.
Yes, exactly. If I lived closer, I'd be there.
Yeah, it'd be a good one.
Sure would be. So, all right. Well, other than that, I guess it's time to say goodbye.
It is.
All right. And I can see I'm going to take a call here very shortly. So, all right. Other than that, thanks go out to everybody for tuning in the broadcast. We really appreciate it, as well as thanks to our sponsors, Limestone City Hydroponics.ca, the Campbellford Lifestyle Shop, as well as At-Eze.ca. We will not see you on Monday, because Monday is Easter Monday, so we'll be taking Monday off. And due to the lagging, we didn't mention that at the beginning of the show, so I thought I'd better mention it. But other than that, don't forget to educate, medicate, and do not incarcerate.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
The opinions of the individuals during this broadcast are their own, and may not be the opinions of their group or other organizations they may be involved with. All medical advice during our broadcast is not a medical opinion and should be checked with your medical physician.
Enjoy the buzz of legalization with Campbellford Lifestyle Shop. From lights to plant nutrients, books, consumption accessories, and more, we've got all your basics to grow or consume cannabis. Visit our info center or take a look at our piercing services and body jewelry, now available in-store through Campbellford Lifestyle Shop, 17 Bridge Street West, Campbellford.
Limestone City Hydroponics is Kingston, Ontario's hydroponics shop. Take your growing to the next level and create the optimal environment with a tent kit, or maximize your yield with an ebb and flow flood table kit. Either way, Limestone City Hydroponics has more sizes and options to fit your needs. Are you looking for the power of the sun that adapts to your budget? Then look no further, as they have professional grow lighting. They have indoor grow systems that are easy and cost effective, with many options to fit your living space and lifestyle. Cultivate your growing potential. We have everything you need to succeed. And if you can't make it to the store, they offer local delivery to the greater Kingston area. Remember, when you're looking for experts to help you grow, then look no further than the locally owned Limestone City Hydroponics, 105 Sunderland Drive in Kingston, Ontario. Call them at 613-548-0420. We are people advocating cannabis education here at paceradio.net.